Hey everybody! Thank you very much for tuning in to this podcast. It's just a start, so I'm just starting to build my podcast for hashtag Banyo Thoughts. Things you think about when you are in the toilet, in the shower, or you're focused on doing something in the bathroom. So I'll be doing quite a lot of things. Well, trying to do a lot of things. Doing some book reviews, doing some comic reviews, activities, cooking reviews, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's basically interviewing a lot of people, conversations, real talk of things that are happening now and what I feel like are interesting. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you like this episode of the podcast. And if you like it, please do share it. Please gently press the follow and share it to your friends who might be interested in conversations like this. Thank you guys, and yeah, God bless. Hi guys, this is Gian. Welcome to Banyo Thoughts, your daily dose of happiness and adventure. Anyway, yeah, this is actually a podcast that I've been doing for a couple of months already. So, anyway, today I just wanted to talk about a very interesting topic where some of us have gone through over the past few months during the quarantine, and it's actually anxiety and depression. I know some people have gone through that, especially me, for example. And siguro today lang, siguro this probably today. I think this is the time na medyo naging okay rin ako because of the past few days it was really hard to deal with anxiety. Syempre tinignan ko yung sarili ko sa video. Natawa lang talaga ako sa buhok ko. Next time, huwag talagang gugupitin talaga sa sarili nyo. Mukha talaga helmet yung buhok. Shape na shape talaga yung sa side. Tapos ang haba-haba sa taas. Anyway, hindi na ako nagsombrero. Para makita nyo kung gaano kalala ang paggupit. Anyway, so I think that's yung gupit na yan is actually one way of me dealing with anxiety. Anyway, so the past few weeks, I've noticed that parang yung emotions mo na it's up and down. I don't know if you actually felt that kind of thing na you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know, everything is a bit unsure. So parang ikaw rin, parang feeling mo na hindi mo alam kung saan ka lulugar. Especially for us, as a startup founder with a travel company, super affected rin kami dito sa pandemic that's happening in our country. So we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Even though they announced there's going to be a GCQ, or they're going to be announcing that there's going to be they will open up leisure or travel for, even though it's limited for the Philippines, you're still scared because you're not really sure who has COVID-19 or who doesn't. If they're asymptomatic or what, no. Especially for us, we do travel that is actually surprise, mystery, adventure. So hindi mo alam kung sinong kasama mo, baka may sakit. So there's a big responsibility. So technically, I am worried of how to operate within that environment. Sabihin na natin kahit nilagay natin ng measures, kahit nilagay natin yung health safety precautions and everything, you're still worried because at the back of your head, anyone could be a carrier, and you allowing people to meet each other, or even kahit na may social distancing or physical distancing, may potential pa rin na magkaroon ng mahawa ng sakit, or magkaroon ng madala mo yung sakit somewhere else, especially when you travel to other parts of the country. So yun ang mga thoughts na lumalabas sa utak ko for the past few months actually, na hindi ko alam kung paano ko gagalawin ng kumpanya, paano ko aalagaan yung mga tao, paano ko ensure na safe lahat or health, walang magkakasakit. So this led this led a lot on I guess anxiety and depression on my part. And siguro this week was the worst time of it all because para lang siyang, siguro dahil wala akong kausap, para lang siya nag-avalanche or, sa akin. And then I broke down. I cried, I cried a lot, during this week for no reason at all. I think may reason naman because hindi ko alam kung paano ko i-confront all of this. So, ang kagandahan lang is that, we have this mentor in Idea Space. Her name is Miss Susie Rojas. And timing, I think it's on May 26th that she messaged me on Messenger and Facebook, and I asked her if she's willing to take a call for just a few minutes, and she said yes. And then I think that having that 1 hour and a half dapat sandali lang pero naging 1 hour and a half yung conversation, I really broke down. So we're mga good 15 minutes wala akong ginawa kundi umiyak lang. Umiyak, tas hindi ko alam kasi kung ano yung gagawin. Hindi ko rin alam what's happening with me, what's happening in my head. Parang everything, the thoughts that I have are all negative. Like some of them are about failure, about mistakes, about nothing that I've done really is valuable enough, not being successful, lahat ng insecurities, siguro lumabas lahat dun sa conversation. And then, she just listened, she kept quiet and just listened, and then she started asking questions. What exactly am I feeling? And I said, I'm feeling about kind of like something about, I feel lonely, Parang you're just carrying this whole thing in your head all alone, and you don't have anyone to share it with or to open up with and talk about it. Parang it's like a responsibility that you only have for yourself. And then she said one of the exercises she recommended me to do is I think she called it examen, but it's basically where you talk to God or to a higher being and then have a conversation of basically how your day went, the good things, the bad things, the things that you can improve, stuff like that. And then we delved into the whole idea that why you feel lonely, because then I realized because everything was not naman taken away na parang ninakawan ka na lahat ng mga bagay na hindi mo na magagawa, but yung uncertainty na hindi ko alam anong gagawin with the industry that I'm in or the activities that I'm in, the things that I'm used to. And I realized that actually a very physical, my love language is really physical touch. And I think having no one to hug or having to physical contact, like talk to, like face to face, affected me a lot. And in those things I realized over the past few weeks na these are yung mga limitations ng sarili ko or yung mga self-knowledge, I guess. Yung nalaman ko saan talaga ako masaya, saan ako hindi masaya, saan ako nangangailangan ng tulong, saan hindi ko nangangailangan ng tulong. So that was May 26. But it took me 3 days until actually yesterday, parang it's a gradual improvement over the past few days, no? But I think what helped me a lot in coping with this, aside from what Miss Susie recommended, was actually started writing things down. So I wrote down every night. I wrote down things that bother me. Siguro ang dami kong sinulat nun. Things that I'm worried about. Sinulat ko rin lahat yan. Things that makes me happy. Like, what things that excite me whenever I do something. So I wrote a couple of things down. And then the last thing that I wrote is what do I really want to, what are my dreams? Ano ba talaga, kung hindi problema ang pera, ano talaga yung pangarap ko talaga sa buhay? What do I really want to do? So I wrote things down. And it's really, the funny thing is, really it's completely different from what I'm doing as a startup founder in Experience Philippines. But what's clear is that it's it's really about helping people and making people happy. I think that's the end of the day. So realization ko at the end is really, I think I lost touch of what is really fun. Maybe because every day, I think, I don't know if it happens to everyone or some of you guys, but don't you feel that sometimes when we get involved in, or do something and we start doing it in a routine way, that we lose track of what really is, why we started it out, and what were the initial reasons why we started it out. Na it suddenly becomes work, and the work suddenly becomes more burdensome or may nakakapagod, that the fun part is lost. And I think that shouldn't be the case. Because if you're really doing something that you really love, it shouldn't feel the hard work, because hard work is given. For anyone to be successful in life, you have to put in the work. I was sa mga conversations ko with one of my friends, si Leia, is that na-realize ko lang, how with the celebrities, that the K-pop artists, no, how much yung grabe pala yung training nila just to be able to reach that standard of success. That 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours of the day, non-stop, dancing, singing, and even acting, no? Constantly, every day until they debut, and even after they debut, they keep on still doing that. And like for example, BTS, they're worldwide famous and celebrities, but took them how many years to be able to reach that to reach that stage, or to reach that part of their lives, no? And going back to even the other entrepreneurs and businessmen, how many hours do they dedicate? Then I started looking at myself and started thinking, oh, no, how many hours ba do I dedicate in doing the things that I love, and doing the things that I care for, or doing the things that make me happy? Then doon siguro nag-fall into place. I mean, started writing it down, and then I started examining myself more, and I started really thinking of things that I should be grateful for. I think that's one. And then siguro another way of really that's the first thing, I started writing things down, and then having really weird conversations with myself and even with my dog, of how I feel. But more importantly, having the second one is having conversations with people you feel comfortable talking about your anxiety and depression with. So in this case, Miss Susie, and she's very, very helpful to me during this past few days, because having someone listen lang helped a lot. And also there are other people who are my close friends who are also experiencing the same thing, except una lang ako nag-message sa kanila, so they decided not to talk about their own problems. But yun nga lang, na-realize ko na iba talaga pag may kasama ka, may sumusuporta talaga sa'yo, na who are, even though you're physically distant from each other and you can only virtually talk, masarap pa rin pakiramdam na you have someone to discuss and talk these things with. And then they make you see the other side of the picture, that you don't also realize, that what the good things that you're doing, or the good things that you're actually, it's a good thing that you're actually thinking about what you're thinking, meaning you're recognizing it and you're realizing it, and then moving forward with it. What's the next step? So next step, which is really, I have a picture in my wall of really my quarantine daily schedule, which is really funny. It starts at 5:30 in the morning. They have to do these series of activities. And I think having that routine helps out as well, even though kahit hindi ko nagagawa. Ang naging major ko lang talaga, push sa sarili ko, or you can say, not push, but commitment ko sa sarili ko is kailangan ko magawa to and put the hard work in it, and really dedicate the time and effort in it. If it's this time for this, I have to do that. If this is this time for this, then I have to do that. Just to be able to have a sense of stability, because nga, right now everything is uncertain. For us in the travel community, it's so uncertain. I'm scared really on how the business is going to be in the next few months, really. So, but ayoko na lang muna isipin. I mean, ayoko siyang hindi isipin in a negative way, but kailangan ko lang siguro ayusin muna yung, uh, stabilize muna yung mental thoughts ko, and then the activities that I need to do on a day-to-day basis before I can start accepting things that are really outside of my control. So yun. So first thing that I did is write things down. Second is having conversations with friends and people who will understand. Not everyone, not everyone. And I don't really advise that you start posting it on social media that you're undergoing this, because you don't know everyone. And some people, in Filipinos pa naman, or some people, no matter how good intentions, how much good intentions they have, it some of them really egotistical. I mean, let's be honest. Like, some of them are just looking into projecting their own, themselves to someone else, and I really don't like that. Kaya you have to select which one, who you want to talk to and who you feel like you want to have a conversation with. So just few people. It can't be, don't talk to 10 or 20 people. Just talk to one or two. And then the last thing that I realized is, really, if there is such a thing as social distancing, I would say sock med distancing. In the news nowadays, there's so much doom and gloom. Like yesterday, they announced that the COVID cases has increased to 16,000. Like, everyone was just like panicking and stuff, like, oh, we're gonna go into GCQ this coming June 1, and then magkakaroon ng labas ganito yung cases, hindi naman nagfa-flatten yung curve. So ako personally, oh shit, ako yung kinakabahan na rin, parang takot na rin ako ngayon lumabas, and takot na rin ako makipag-usap sa mga tao na without, wearing the mask and everything. And but if that is always the feed in my head, then mangyayari dyan sa akin is that I'll constantly be scared, constantly be afraid, and I'll be worried more and thinking about that instead of what are in my control. So I think that's the reason why we should, if you can, avoid, we can be in the news and understand what's happening out there, but I think we should be selective in what we read and what we see and what we watch in social media. Personally, and this is just me, my opinion about it. No, I really found enjoyment in going to TikTok. I know some of you don't like it because it's China made, etc., etc. They'll get your details, etc., etc., which you can easily avoid by coming up with another email. But it's not about dances. It's not about memes. It's not about all these. I just saw the creativity of people. Some of them are really good, and some of them I learned, in 1 minute they can actually talk about techniques and taking good photos, or where you can find good animes to watch, or other streaming channels that are free aside from Netflix. That's simple stuff, or learning languages. I think that's one of the things I enjoyed with TikTok, is that there are many people who are actually offering language tutorials for Korean, for Spanish, for Filipino, for French, and it's quite interesting because it's in a conversational way, like day-to-day activities that you just learn. So you just write it down and that's save it in your notebook, and that's it. And that's surprisingly what I found in TikTok, and not many people like it. But be honest, it's my source of happiness, you can say. And that's why I encourage people to go through it, even though they don't post anything, just by going through the feed there. And I think it's really a lot better than Instagram, to be honest. I mean, Instagram is such a parang stereotypical na kailangan maganda lahat. Doon sa TikTok, which is very more authentic and more realistic, in a sense, parang it's limited editing, so hindi talaga siya pwede i-edit lahat na ano. But maganda anyway. It's just a suggestion for you guys that you guys wanna check out and explore. So yun, those are the top 3 things that those are the 3 things that I did over the past few days that helped me stabilize my anxiety and depression. 1 is writing things down. 2 is really having conversations with friends. And then 3, avoiding, watching what you're feeding your mind, and what you're feeding your head, and what you're seeing and listening, or reading. No, be very selective of that. Focus on things that you can control, and focus on the things that makes you really happy. And siguro at the end, I wrote, if you can see my blackboard here, I just wrote a big reminder to myself that it's all about having fun. I think that's one thing that I personally have neglected, maybe, is really because everything I thought is just like a work that you have to have a perfect. It's about being perfect, 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 doing these things perfectly, and doing things kailangan ganito, ganito, on time, kailangan ganyan, yan. That I forgot that it's really having fun doing it, like really enjoying it. Now, if you find that good mix where you are doing something that you love and having fun at the same time, I think you should continue doing that, because it makes more sense in the long run than focusing on something that you feel you have to put so much effort for, or for so much effort in. Uh, Yun ang siguro realization ko during this past few days, that if I'm exerting too much effort, that I don't like to do it anymore the following day, then it's not fun. So kailangan talaga na talagang willing talaga ako maghirap kasi masaya. And nag-enjoy ako. Some of the things that I've started doing that I'm really happy about is really the daily runs, because bawal mag-gym and everything. So what I do is basically at 8 o'clock, at 7 in the evening, I basically fill my backpack with clothes, so it's kind of heavy. So I do a weighted run in our parking lot here, which no one is in naman. So, and then while carrying yung mga tents, parang may weights na rin. So that's, and then may goal ako, like I have to achieve 10 of this, in 10 rounds of this. Then after 10 rounds, I have to do this, and I have to do this. So in my mind, it's fun because pag na-accomplish mo siya, parang yay, at least yung maliit na bagay na yun is a success already for me, na nagawa ko siya. So that gives me a boost. Okay, tomorrow I'll do better, and I'll do better, and I'll do better. So that kind of stuff that yung mga simpleng bagay lang na mga ganyan, that the successes and the fun things. So the hard work, the hard work and the fun in it. So yun ang inisip ko lagi yan. Hard work should be fun. Hard work, fun. When you're doing something fun, the hard work doesn't matter, but you have to put effort in it. So yun lang. So this is actually, I hope this podcast helps you out. It's my sharing of my thoughts during the past few days of anxiety and depression. And I really truly wish that, pray that you guys, if you're undergoing this thing in this phase of your life, you're not alone. There are a lot of people. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are there for you, or supporting you behind. Hindi mo lang alam. But so if you have any chance, talk to them. Leave a note also here in my podcast or in this video. Let's have a conversation. Yun lang. So I hope you guys have a good day, night, wherever you are. And thank you very much for listening to this podcast. And until the next one. So.